Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the East Tennessee History Center. I'm Dr. Warren Doctor. I'm the President and CEO of the East Tennessee Historical Society, and I just want to thank you all for braving the rain and coming out and listening to today's program. This is very, very exciting. Before we launch into that in our introductions, I just wanted to say a couple things and about upcoming programs that we have. But the first thing I want to say is, if you're not a member of the East Tennessee Historical Society, I'd like to encourage you to join so that we can continue to host programs like this, which we're very excited about, and which sort of goes into the theme of our exhibition. I don't know if everyone here has seen our exhibition about the history of baseball in Tennessee. It's called Home Runs and Home Teams. I'd like to give a big shout out to the people that helped realize that project. Adam Alfrey, Dean Novelli's in the room, the people that did the original research, because nobody had ever done a history of baseball in Tennessee before. And so it was all original research, and it's a really remarkable exhibition. So if you've not seen it, you got to go back and see it. It's really cool, and it's really amazing. We have two programs briefly I just want to mention that are coming up. This Saturday, which we're super excited about, is our History Hootenanny. It'll be all day Saturday. It's open to the public. There's going to be lots of events. There's going to be Angels in the Outfield, the original version, shown at the Tennessee Theater. There'll be lots of talks about the history of baseball and sports more broadly in East Tennessee history. And it's just going to be a big open day. It'll be fun. It'll be right here starting at 10 in the morning. There'll be loads of speakers and lots to do, including live music. So please come out and support ETHS and the History Center more broadly. I'd also like to thank our sponsors for our brown bags, which I think is a bank that I can't think of at the moment. First Bank. Yeah, First Bank. And I would like to thank in particular our chairman, Sam Albritton, for supporting this. I'd also like to thank the Knox County Public Library for their support, and of course, Knoxville Community Media, who helped bring this alive online, as well as poor Ken and Lisa back there who have to put it out live on Facebook. So let's give them a big round of applause while we're all here. The next program that we have coming up will be August 20th, which is a week from today. And it's Dr. Amber Rosner who's speaking also about the history of baseball, building community through baseball. We're very, very excited about that. And it's been a part of the exhibition that we've been doing lots of talks about baseball and the role that it's had, not just in East Tennessee, but across Tennessee more broadly. So I'm going to introduce, I guess, the convener of today's talk, will then introduce our speaker. It's my pleasure to introduce Ray Smith. Now, Ray Smith, I don't know if you know Ray, he's a big deal. First of all, I should say, he's a board member, so I have to be very kind to him, just in the interest of full disclosure. But Ray is the man. If you've got a question about Oak Ridge, he's the guy you need to see. He's a historian for the city of Oak Ridge, and he's also not just a member of our board, but a member of the board for AMSI, the Museum of American Science and Energy Foundation. I think I butchered that. And the Y-12 National Security Complex historian. He is that as well. He writes a sort of a weekly column, I think, for the Oak Ridge newspaper about the history of Oak Ridge. He's done loads of documentaries on, I think he's appeared on the History Channel about Oak Ridge and the history of Oak Ridge, and has far too many accolades for me to list here today. But he has also published several hardback books, in addition to being a newspaper writer. He's also an author. And he's tremendously influential. I know a lot of people, when we had our World War II conference, came to listen to Ray about Oak Ridge, and I mean that internationally. So I mean he's a historian of renown. So without further ado, I'm going to turn over to Ray Smith. Thank you so much. I look forward to today's talk.
Thank you very much. All right, smile. You're going to be on Facebook. Oh, now that's important. Smile. All right, enough of that silliness. Let me introduce two people who are in the room today that are very special guests. I won't ask them to stand up, but I want you to see them right over here. The one on the end is L.C. Larry Gibson, and the person next to him is Charlie Boyd. Did I get that right? Let's give them a really big round of applause. So I told Larry that I've looked all over trying to find out when the Bombers played their last game. And he said, well, I said, I always get something in the, this is a city councilman calling me from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And I'm going to tell him I can't talk to him, all right? All right, that took care of that. And I asked Larry, I said, when did they play the last game? He said, oh, in the late 60s. Charlie Boyd said, we played in Cleveland and it was in 1967. Isn't that amazing? That kind of memory, it amazes me that they still remember the Bombers baseball team. Now let's talk just a little bit about Oak Ridge. Now, I'm standing up here in front of you, and I've chosen today not to show you pictures. And Don Honeycutt, I apologize for this. I normally show pictures of Ed Westcott's photographs, you know that. And if I didn't have those pictures, it wouldn't be nearly as easy to communicate about Oak Ridge. And I'm struggling today because I would love to have a picture up here that I could point to. But I've chosen not to. They only gave me 10 minutes. I could talk for an hour and 10 minutes. Katatra, if I get going too long, you wave at me, all right? But what I want to tell you is that I would much rather answer questions about Oak Ridge. And I found this to be the case. If I can get the audience to ask me a question about Oak Ridge, I can get information conveyed to that audience that they're more interested in. Now, I can talk a long time about Oak Ridge history, about how it started in 1942. There were 1,000 farms there, 3,000 people, and in 2 years and 9 months, there were 75,000 people living there, and there were 80,000 people working there. Do you know that during the Manhattan Project, those 2 years and 9 months, 600,000 people worked on the Manhattan Project at one time or the other? Most amazing thing that has happened in the history of the world, if you'll stop and think about it. Because think about all of the things that resulted from Oak Ridge and the Manhattan Project. No matter where you go in the world, if you say the word Oak Ridge, you don't even have to say Tennessee, and they will respond to you atomic bomb. So everybody knows that. But what they don't know is that the touch screen on your iPhone was invented in Oak Ridge. And many other things that you take for granted. Nuclear medicine. How many of you have had something to do with nuclear medicine in your life? Come on, yeah, almost all of us have. If we hadn't yet, we probably will before we are gone. That came out of the nuclear navy. Think about that. Captain Rickover then in 1946 came to the first reactor training school and realized if you make a reactor out of highly enriched uranium, weapons grade, you can make it small enough to go in a submarine. And that's what started the nuclear navy. Nuclear reactors for electrical power. And do you know that they are now doing a Manhattan Project 2.0 in Oak Ridge? Chris Wright, who's the Department of Energy Secretary, came to Oak Ridge and challenged us to do Manhattan Project 2.0, to be the lead in Tennessee. The governor put $65 million into an effort to have that nuclear renaissance happen in Oak Ridge. It's right in our backyard here from Knoxville, folks. Things are happening. We've got Areno, we've got Kairos Power, we've got TriSo-X, we've got Type 1 Energy, and I didn't even name them all. TVA, and BWXT, all of them are bringing in billions of dollars of investments into Oak Ridge. Now, think about that, and let's go back. When they started in 1942, it was in a segregated South. Jim Crow laws were enforced, and they did that just like every other place in the South. When the African Americans came in to work, they didn't let them bring their families. They put them in hutments, 16 by 16 foot plywood, windowless. They had little flaps for windows, hutments, and they separated the men and the women. One of the women, Katie Strickland, figured out, hey, I can beat this system. She asked her husband to bring her a piece of metal out of the construction site. She took it and bent the corners and the ends of it up and made a biscuit pan out of it. She cooked biscuits on that stove that was in the center of the hutment, and then she gave those biscuits to the guard that was on the fence around the women's area, and he would let her husband stay with her longer. We have that biscuit pan. It's at the K-25 Atomic History Center in Oak Ridge. And we also have the Manhattan Project National Historical Park in Oak Ridge. Amazing things are happening in Oak Ridge. Back in the 40s, by 1944, these African American that were in Oak Ridge were not allowed to participate in the recreation as the whites were. They weren't allowed to go into the cafeterias. They weren't allowed to go into the movie theaters. Only one, if I remember right, they could go in a balcony on only one. And I may have that wrong. There may have been other ways. But they were not well treated. Now, it's hard for us to even think about that, but back then, it was just standard practice. And the African Americans, they made do. In other words, they figured out what could they do. And one of the things they did is they started their own baseball team and lasted from 1944 to 1967. Working during the week, and then on Friday night, Saturday and Sunday, they would go somewhere and would play baseball. Amazing if you stop and think about that. Now, we have another fellow in the room that helped me to write articles. Warren mentioned that I write newspaper articles. I wrote 6 articles about the bombers. And you can find these by going online and just looking for Oak Ridge bombers. And if you if you look for historically speaking and Oak Ridge bombers, you'll find those articles. LC Larry Gibson helped me to write them, and Jack Bailey. Jack, hold your hand up. Jack's got more information about baseball history than anybody else I know, and he helped me to write these articles. Now, I'm dead serious about this. I've only got a couple more minutes, but I would love to answer a question or two that you have about the history of Oak Ridge. Is anybody game enough? Ken Mays, you can't ask a question.
No, I was going to ask a question about, say, there's a replica hutment at the Oak Ridge History Museum.
That's correct. Thank you for mentioning that. At the Oak Ridge History Museum at 102 Robertsville Road in Oak Ridge, there is a replica of the hutment that's a part of the museum there. And that museum is in a Manhattan Project era building, the Midtown Community Center, and it's operated by the Oak Ridge Heritage and Preservation Association. Don Honeycutt is one that's sitting over here. Hold your hand up, Don. He's one of the people who helped to create the museum, and he helps to maintain it, provides tours for people coming in. Thank you, Ken. Come on, ask me a question.
What were some of the teams that they played?
What were some of the teams they played? Charlie, tell us, who did you play?
We played, starting off, we played Cincinnati All-Stars
Cincinnati All-Stars,
and
Chattanooga Choo-Choo, What'd you play in Cleveland?
Cleveland had a name, but I
You forgot what it is. Now, what he's telling you is that they would go all around the southeast, and they would literally travel out on Friday night to be there and play a game on Saturday. I don't know, but they might have slept in their cars.
we did.
See, you did. See there, I'm guessing, but I got it right. Dedicated to baseball. Yes, sir.
So was that Cleveland, Tennessee, or Cleveland,
Cleveland.
Ohio?
Cleveland, Tennessee.
Cleveland, Tennessee. Yes, sir, Jack.
I've got two uniforms at home, one of the Larks and one of the Tigers, both black baseball teams. And one of them has Gym Theater on the back of it, which was a popular theater here in Knoxville.
Had two uniforms that he's got in his collection, and one of them had an advertisement from Knoxville on it. This uniform up here was worn by Millard Weaver, right? We found that in the photograph, and that uniform's in really good shape. All right, one more question, and I'm going to turn it over to Katatra. Is that all right, Katatra? Give me one more question. I won't quit till you give me a question.
I'll try to answer.
Come on, what do you want to know? All right, give it to me.
In the war years,
Yeah.
did they just have to stay in Oak Ridge and play?
Yeah. He's asking, in the war years, were they able to leave Oak Ridge? And the answer is yes, they could leave anytime they wanted to. They could travel and play at other places. No one could come and play you in Oak Ridge. Is that right?
That's right.
They could not bring a team in, but they could go anywhere they wanted to. Now, all you had to do, even during the war years, Oak Ridge had seven gates on the roads coming into Oak Ridge. And all you had to do was to have a badge to get in. You could leave anytime you wanted to, come back anytime you wanted to, but you had to have a badge. Anybody over, Don, is it 12 years old? 12 years old had to have a badge. Or if you were coming to visit somebody, you could actually do that. You could come and visit somebody in Oak Ridge, but when you got to the gate, you'd have to wait until they come and got you, or I made some arrangements for you to be able to get in. Only badged individuals would come in. But now they had 850 buses during the Manhattan Project that went around to all of the cities, even as far away as Chattanooga, and brought workers in. So people did come and go from Oak Ridge. Now, Knoxville people could recognize Oak Ridgers, because when they got here, often they would have mud on their feet. All right, you asked me one more question, I'll quit. I'm gonna let you, I'm sorry, please. I won't quit as long as I answer the question.
At Birmingham, have they acknowledged this Oak Ridge activity, the African American baseball? Oh, Birmingham has a museum devoted to it.
You know anything about
No,
that?
they have not.
They have not acknowledged the bombers.
No, sir.
You have tried to get it recognized? Well, we'll help you. Jack?
The museum in Birmingham does have an autographed ball of Eugene Fireball Williams, who played on that team. And the guy that owns that museum is a friend of mine, so I'll talk to him about seeing what we can do.
There you go.
Getting Oak Ridge Bombers.
There you go. That'll make it happen. Jack? Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Was there a championship series?
Was there a championship series?
No.
No. Now that there is, I don't want to take too much longer, and I don't want to confuse the issue. Don't want to take too much longer, and I don't want to confuse the issue. But I want you to know there were two bombers. The first bombers team did not last. It only went for a few, months or maybe a few years. They did have, Jack, go ahead and talk about that.
The Oak Ridge Bombers minor league team played in 1948.
1948, yeah.
And then the Oak Ridge Pioneers, another minor league team, played in 1954.
Oak Ridge Pioneers was another minor league team in 1954. The one that started in 48 only lasted a couple of years.
No, know, a few months.
A few months, just a few months. And they did go into a championship runoff and became runner-up. They didn't win, but they were runner-up. But they didn't sustain. The Bombers that started in 44, the African-American players, they lasted until 1967.
Pioneers only lasted about a couple of years also, I think.
Yeah.
Pioneers were about 2 years they lasted.
About 2 years, the Pioneers, 1 year, just 1 year. But the Bombers that we're talking about lasted until 1967. Highly respected. Now, I'm going to turn it over to Katatra Vasquez. Katatra has retired from the Department of Energy, and she's now doing her own thing in the way of helping us promote the history of Oak Ridge. She has a tour that she provides. She's written books that help the children to appreciate and understand Oak Ridge history, Black history. And I'm so proud of what Katatra is doing. And when I was asked by the East Tennessee Historical Society to help put this together, you remember the first thing I said was, let's get Katatra involved. And that's what we've done. And when you get Katatra involved, you better get out of the way. She's going to make things happen for you. It's my pleasure to introduce Katatra Vasquez. Katatra.
Well, thank you, Ray, for that awesome introduction. Get out the way, huh? I don't know about that. But thank you, Ray, for the introduction. Again, my name is Katatra Vasquez. I'm so excited to be in front of you today to give to you what I like to call my love letter to the Oak Ridge Bombers and Oak Ridge Bombers baseball. Yes, I retired from DOE, and my second act is I'm the president and founder of Atomic Hope Heritage Preservation and Tourism Company, in which we do just that. We find the hidden stories in the secret city, and we provide it in such a way that you have experiential tourism as well as education, because I feel like we all have one thing in common. We have shared hope. And in each one of our Oak Ridge history stories, whether you are black, white, or green, there is one thing that we all share, is shared hope and thinking of something better for our future. And so that's what Atomic Hope is all about. So baseball and the bomb, and the Bombers baseball team that absolutely changed American history and American baseball. And so I like to move, so I'm going to move this chair out of the way. You'll see in a minute I'm very highly energetic, so I'll try to keep my hands next to my shoulders and do all that. All right, Ken, do I move this, or that's one thing we didn't figure out? Do I
advance it?
Advance it, can I do that? All right, let's do it. I did it, yay! Well, nevertheless, I will not get too much into America's Secret City because our awesome city historian, Ray Smith, has answered a lot of those questions about Oak Ridge, Tennessee. But I would like to point out on this particular slide about America's Secret City that out of those thousands of workers that were recruited to come into Oak Ridge, Tennessee, guess what? Out of that, would you say 80-something thousand folks? Guess who was in that mix that was recruited to come to Oak Ridge, Tennessee? About an estimated 1,000 African-American people came to contribute to the atomic bomb and all the work that was done during the Manhattan Project. So I just wanted to let you know in that mix, yes, we were in there and we contributed to the Manhattan Project and changing pretty much American history, world history for that matter. So, okay, so Katatra, Ray, can you help me bring this all together, baseball and the bomb? You talked a little bit about Oak Ridge, Tennessee, but bring in the whole Bombers thing. And I think I can do that. I do not want to rest on the whole segregation story, because if you think about Oak Ridge and the Bombers, it's a part of it, but baseball and the love of baseball is more than just segregation. But I want to talk to you about how do we get to this whole segregation, black Bombers or black baseball teams over here, white baseball teams over here. And guess what? It started back in, let me get it right, in 1883. the White Sox didn't want to play with the Blue Stockings. Can you imagine? You don't want to mix your laundry up, do you? White Stockings and the Blue Stockings. And this guy named Cap Anson of the Chicago White Sox was like, I'm not interested in playing with black players. And so here we go. There's this gentleman's agreement that black players and white players have to play on separate teams, starting way back in 1883. But I know we have a whole bunch of baseball fans and baseball stats and those folks that know all about baseball. I'm just getting into it. These guys have helped me out a whole lot. Can anybody tell me the relationship between Cap Anderson of the Chicago White Sox to Knoxville, Tennessee?
I think he served here in the Civil War, didn't he?
I don't know. I don't go back that far. Anybody else? Give it a guess. Okay, well, I'll bring it in for you. You know the Knoxville Smokies? Yeah. So the Chicago White Sox used to be, well, they changed their name into the Chicago what? Cubs. Yes. And Chicago Cubs was Knoxville Smokies. They are the affiliate of what? The Chicago Cubs. You see how this history all comes together. Yes. So I just wanted to bring that little known wow fact in our little Knoxville history there. So the rise of baseball, 1920. This guy named Rube Foster. Anybody know about Rube Foster? Yes. Yeah. I am kind of like girl fanning on Rube Foster. I'm gonna tell you why. Because Rube Foster, he's called the father of black baseball. Okay. So he was an amazing pitcher. And what the story goes is Rube was an amazing pitcher, and there were all different black baseball teams being formed around the United States of America, right? So Rube Foster noticed something. He was also a manager of he was the manager of the Giants, and he also played with the Cuban Giants. But there wasn't nothing Cuban about this team. They were an African-American baseball team. They just so happened to go by the Cuban Giants. And the story goes that he was a manager of one of these teams, and he was like, you know what, black baseball, we're playing over here with black baseball, but then there were white managers over black baseball teams, and the black managers over black baseball teams. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell the truth. Mr. Gibson, he says, Katatra, tell the truth. At the end of the day, all the money from the ticket sales and all this was going to the white promoters. And Rube Foster was like, no, that's not cool. We can't have that. We're out here being the entertainment, the talent, and everything, but at the end of the day, all the dollars are going back to white owners and the people that are getting the ticket sales and so forth. No good. So Rube Foster, he said, you know what? I am going to create my own league. And guess what that started? Everybody say it with me. The Negro Leagues. Yes, so that's how we got to the Negro Leagues and starting a whole different round of black baseball where black talent was the primary talent on baseball teams. And not only that, it started an economic boom in African American communities. Talk about for us, by us. It was all in African. The talent, from the stands, whoever was making the food to the entertainment, it was a beautiful thing. I even found out that Louis Armstrong, yes, he had a semi-pro professional team that was associated with the Negro Leagues. So that's my fan out for the father of black baseball. And while we have the Negro Leagues, Mr. Rube Foster, add it to your history facts and say, wow, I now know about Rube Foster. So 1944, Ray brings it up. He says there's an article that comes out in the Secret City Journal. A color league pops up, 1944. Okay, we've already established the gentleman's agreement. Now we know that they're black and white teams. So they wouldn't be playing together. So we have this 1944 colored league that pops up. And for anybody who doesn't know what color means, that is what they used to call us back in the day. Now we like to say African American or black. But they were the color league, popped up in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. And that's how we get to what I believe the start of the Oak Ridge Bombers. In interview that I had with one of the Oak Ridge Bombers, it was like the cheat code to life. And he says, and I paraphrase, life is about 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond. 1948, guess who pops up on the scene with their Oak Ridge Bomber shirts? This is where we believe that the Oak Ridge Bombers team was official then in 1948. However, I think in the works before 1948, we had Oak Ridge Bombers. They may not have the name yet. We'll get to the next slide where we'll say what's in the name. But while we're on this slide, I would like to talk about two gentlemen that kept the Oak Ridge Bombers going from 1940s to, what we say, Mr. Boy, 67? Something like that, in 1967. Right here, we have, at the top here, we have Mr. James Capshaw, or Big Capshaw, as we like to say. One of his descendants is in the room. Everybody say hi, Ebony. Yes, one of his descendants is in the room today, carrying that history alive. That is Mr. James Capshaw at the top, and then we have Mr. Robert Lee. These are the two gentlemen that kept the Oak Ridge Bombers going from the 1940s to the 1960s. And I wouldn't be remiss without saying some of these teams had sponsors. They had big buses and all that. But that's okay, because these two kept ball uniforms out of their Manhattan Project money or job money from working at the plants. They kept their players all decked out in uniforms. They made sure that they had what they needed to get to these games and so forth. So we like to give a huge shout out and thank you to these two managers that helped keep the team together from 1940s to the 1960s. So they definitely said, you know what, that's cool, not a problem. We'll have our own team and make it work. And they did. All right, so what's in the name? Oak Ridge Bombers. Ray, I read one of your articles about trying to figure out where would they get that Oak Ridge Bombers name from, because it wasn't until, 1945 that U.S. dropped a bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So what's up with this whole bombers thing? Like, what are we doing with that? Is it the Tuskegee Airmen? No. So no. So what's in the name? Just a little national sports history. The Bombers, that name has been around for a little while. In 1920, we had the Bronx Bombers. Y'all know what they are now? The Yankees. The Yankees. And then we talked a little bit about I won't say it, the other team, the 1948 Oak Ridge Bombers. So I did find out in my research that it was like within a couple of months where the Oak Ridge Bombers, the black team, came on the scene, and the African-American Oak Ridge Bombers came on the scene. So we might just so happen to share a name, but it's cool, it's all right. But they were the Mountain Sports League team, which was the professional baseball team. And the Mountain Sports League, but they didn't last that long. They moved to Kentucky. I guess they were tired of Oak Ridge. I don't know, Jack. What was it? That money wasn't right. The money wasn't right. They didn't stay that long, and then they moved to Hazard, Kentucky. So if you wanted to ask me who the Oak Ridge Bombers are and who keeps the name, I'm going with the African-American team, the Oak Ridge Bombers, the team that lasted. So within that name, Bombers, okay. All right, we got the 1920 National Sports League, the Mountain Sports League. At the end of the day, I associate Bombers with legacy, dominance, and power plays. That's where I'm going with, all right? So, all right, game day in the Secret City. You already know I have this girl crush on Rube Foster because he started a whole Negro League for us, by us. And if I could just transport back in time, I think I would have had a good time at a Negro Leagues baseball game. I would have got my fish sandwich, came after church with my girls, all cute and everything. We would have been having a really, really good time. But I just wanted to tell you that within Oak Ridge in 1949, Gamble Valley Stadium opens. And the city gates in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, opened about 1949. Did I get that right, Ray?
March 1949, March 19th.
March 19, 1949, in July, guess who got a stadium? We must have been doing pretty good because we got a 1,200-seat stadium with lights and everything at Gamble Valley Stadium. And guess where Gamble Valley Stadium was located? right in the heart of the African American city, right in Scarborough. Well, it's now Scarborough, we like to call it, but it was Gamble Valley, Scarborough, but that's in the heart of African American town. So all the Negro League, or excuse me, African American or black baseball players, they didn't have to go all the way to Oakville Park. Well, what's it called? Cargillville Park now here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. They didn't have to go all the way over there and wait for the white teams to quit playing before they got on the field. Guess what? We could go across the street and go to our own baseball field and play. That's the Gamble Valley Stadium that opens in July in 1949. 1,200 fans. Can you imagine it? And the way Oak Ridge and Scarborough is set up now, I don't know if Oak Valley was there by that time.
Yes, it was.
Can you imagine getting off the church and being real cute and going to the game? I'm like, hey, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But nevertheless, barnstorming showdowns was what we did. Is what we did, and how the Negro Leagues and African American baseball was set up, and how we got to play each other without having to deal with rental fees from white stadiums, or having to deal with whatever surprises may come out from people that didn't look like us. Hey, the people that didn't look like us. So we did what we like to call barnstorming showdowns, where guess what? We traveled in our cars. Mr. Boyd said we slept in some of our cars sometimes. We traveled in our cars to go to different places to play other African American teams. What I absolutely love about this particular story and how the barnstorming showdowns is that one story that I heard from our awesome bombers in the oral histories that they told us was that there was one man, they went to one man's house, and guess what he had in his backyard? A whole baseball diamond. A whole baseball diamond. So it was completely a for us, by us kind of situation and barnstorming showdowns. And that's how we kept African American baseball teams for so long and moving amongst each other. And that's one thing that I absolutely love about this story as well. One thing I also would like to say that I love about the story is the girl power that came through this. I was looking through the newspapers and I saw the Bombers, September 2nd. The Oak Ridge Bombers play and host the New Orleans Creoles at 8 o'clock. Admission will be $1. I think I paid maybe $30 for the last baseball game, but it's okay. Admission was $1 for adults and 50 cents for children. And guess who? Miss Sally Tony, the sensational second baseman for the Creoles at Top Flight Negro team. Wow, guess what Sally was? Sally was Miss Tony Stone. Yes, Miss Tony Stone. She broke the gender barrier for women, black women like me, in baseball. I love that. I love to see that story. And guess who played them? The Oak Ridge Bombers did. So we didn't play that segregation stuff within black baseball. If you're going to come on. If you can play, you can play. I absolutely love that. And that was with the New Orleans Creoles. Let's see, before I leave this slide, again, I'd like to go back to game day in the Secret City. And so, is anybody familiar with Miss Arizona Officer and her story? Yes, Miss Arizona Officer was a respected leader within Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Not only was she a respected leader in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, she was the principal of Oak Ridge, Scarborough School. Scarborough School. So she and her husband were absolutely respected within Scarborough School and the Scarborough community. But guess what? She could do as well. She could cook. She could cook. And can you imagine getting off teaching the students one day, going home and making food for her team and her community? That's one thing, my love letter to Oak Ridge Bombers baseball, again, the community and how we looked out for each other and how we fed each other. Because guess what? I heard she could cook really, really good. I would love to have a fish sandwich after a game. But I wanted to bring out Miss Arizona Officer and game day in the Secret City.
Katatra?
Yes, sir.
Can I add on to that?
You sure can.
Arizona Officer was hired by Alden Blankenship in 1949. She started the school in Scarborough, the old community of Scarborough. And they moved, now he hired her in 45, 46. Anyway, by 1949, they moved over to Gamble Valley. When they did, the students wanted to bring the name with them. so they brought the Scarborough School name into Gamble Valley. Eventually, the community adopted that name. That's where Scarborough got its name.
That's where Scarborough got its name. So it's kind of interchangeable between Scarborough, you might hear Scarborough, or the valley, Gamble Valley. There we go. That's how we got that name, Scarborough, from the old Scarborough, which is near, Ray, correct me if I'm wrong, near Oak Ridge National Laboratory, X10 that way.
Yeah, it's at the corner of Scarborough Road and Bethel Valley Road.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Ray. So love that. So the faces of the Oak Ridge Bombers. Let me start out by saying this. Every last Oak Ridge bomber from the 1940s to the 1960s, late 1960s, should be up on this. And I tried. That picture is kind of blurry. But I tried because of all the sacrifices they made for not only just me, but you as well, because they absolutely changed American baseball and American history. So, but I'd like to point out a few folks that you may not know about in the history of the Oak Ridge Bombers. And we have, did you know that we not only had just one, but we had three go on to play professional baseball in the Negro Leagues from the Oak Ridge Bombers? I like to shout them out today. We had Eugene Williams, in which Jack Bailey said it's his birthday. Happy heavenly birthday, Eugene Williams. His birthday is today. We had also Curtis Williams and Ed Fireball Harden. All went to the Negro Leagues. And I like to point out here that the Negro Leagues just wasn't any kind of teams. Guess what? They were recognized by Major League Baseball in 2020 as a part of the Major League Baseball League. So this wasn't just any kind of accomplishment. This was Major League Baseball. Coming right out of where? Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Gotta love it. I also like to point out one person that is in the room today. Mr. Gibson, can you raise your hand? How many of your daughters or sons went to an integrated high school? Yeah, with black and white people in it. Yeah, Maybe some Mexicans or somebody in the class. Yeah, absolutely. Well, guess what? In 1955, Oak Ridge was the first public school system to integrate high school. So yes, because of folks like Mr. Gibson, your kids and my kids were able to go to an integrated high school. So for that all comes out of Oak Ridge history. And I would like to say thank you for your courage, Mr. Gibson. So as I end my presentation, this story is not just any story. It's not just, one of those things that we put up on the shelf. This story is a story that shapes us all. It's a story of unity, perseverance, and a lasting impact. They remind us that hope can take the field and shape a legacy and inspire generations to come. So I just want to thank you all for taking the time on this rainy day to come out and hear about one Oak Ridge Bombers baseball team that I so happen to be a fan of, and I hope you're a fan of now too, the Oak Ridge Bombers baseball team. But before I leave you, because Atomic Hope, I work with children, we gotta have a little interactive little something in here, because now that I have spoken and Ray has spoken, you are now absolutely Oak Ridge baseball historians or something like that, and it's okay. So there is a QR code, and if you don't want to do that, that's fine. I have paper, old school paper, which I like to use as well. But if you want to play this, what I like to call Bombers and Bragging Rights Trivia, I'm testing y'all out, okay? Then you can scan the QR code there and follow along, or I can read them with you. So some of these questions I think you might know now. This first question is called Legacy Mic Drop. Boom. If you had to pick one of these bangers to be the Bombers theme song, which one would you choose? Some of you all know in the 90s, I'm a 90s kid, there's a song called Bring 'Em Out by T.I. If you know that, that's one choice. Say it loud, say it proud, I'm black and I'm proud, that's the other choice. Or Life is a Ball Game by Sister Winona Carr. Which one would you choose? There's no wrong answer. Anybody got Bring 'Em Out by T.I.? No, they're like, who is T.I.? What about Say It Loud, Say It Proud, I'm Black and I'm Proud by James Brown? We got some votes in there. That might be the theme song. What about Life is a Ball Game by Sister Winona Carr? What you think about that one? I like that one too. So there were no wrong answers in that. I think all of you got that right. All right, this next one is called, there's 9 questions, 9 innings. Got it? I'm getting it. I'm learning about. I'm learning about Oak Ridge. Opening day showdown. Who did the Oak Ridge Bombers face in their first game at the Gamble Valley Stadium in 1948? Was it the Knoxville Giants? The Chattanooga Choo-Choos? If you want bragging rights, you might want to pick this one. Or the New Orleans Creoles? Which one was it? The Choo-Choos! And one thing about the Chattanooga Choo-Choos that I found out, which was really, really cool, did you know at one point on their roster they had the Satchel Paige? Yeah, pretty cool. So they were a pretty decent team, you think?
I think they also had Willie Mays at one time.
They did have Willie Mays at one point. Yes. So you think they came up against some people that, yeah.
They beat the Bombers.
Somebody said they did not beat the Bombers. That's right. Because in the newspapers, just to be real, they won that game. Whoop whoop, thank you. The girl that got game. This bomber once faced off with this legendary, the Bombers once faced off with this legendary second baseman or basewoman, who was one of the first women to play pro baseball. Was it Tony Stone, if you know, you know, Wilma Rudolph, or Big Lady Six? Don't laugh about Big Lady Six, y'all. But it wasn't Big Lady Six. Who was it? Was it Wilma or Tony Stone or Big Lady Six? Tony Stone. You actually listened to my presentation. Yay! The Atomic City after party. When the crowd cleared and the lights dimmed, the Bombers headed to this legendary Secret City hotspot where icons like James Brown, Ike and Tina Turner Review lit up the stage and the good times rolled. Was it Jackson Square? Was it The Block? Or was it Market Square? Somebody said The Block. It's all right. Don't bring back those memories, guys. They don't need to know that part. The Block. All right. Next question. Let's see. Power plays only. You're the Bombers MVP. What is your signature move? Now, I just got to say, all these signature moves were named after Negro League power plays and moves that they did. So was it double play? Is it double play wizardry, lightning steals, or delayed pitch, or D, all position excellence? Think about it. You choose yours. Anybody got any all position excellence that they would choose to be their power play? What about delayed pitch delivery? Would that be your power play? Yeah. Or lightning steals. Would that be your power play? Yeah. I think I like the double play wizardry though. You never know what you're going to get. I like that. I think I like that one. So 85 ways to make history. This Oak Ridge Bomber helped desegregate Oak Ridge High School in 1955 as a part of the historic Scarborough 85. Was it Martin Luther King? So some kids always say Martin Luther King. Y'all know that. Was it Martin Luther King, Mr. L.C. Gibson? This answer absolutely knocks it out the park if you didn't know. Or was it Thurgood Marshall? Everybody please answer this question, right? L.C. Gibson. All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, feathers on the fastball. This Bomber's nickname was Turk. I didn't mention this in this, so you might have to help him there, okay? But this Bomber's nickname was Turk because they said he looked like a turkey running around the place. He was an amazing pitcher. What was his name? Was it Jackie Robinson? It wasn't him. Rufus Shepard, this is a Hall of Fame choice right here, or was it Babe Ruth? Help him out, Mr. Boyd. Rufus Shepard, and he had the honor of throwing out the first pitch when the Bombers were honored at the Knoxville Smokies game on Sunday. He did a really, really good job. This next question, almost to the last question, is swinging bats and splitting atoms. The Oak Ridge Bombers weren't just athletes. They also worked as essential jobs during the Manhattan Project that helped shape American history and change the world. What kind of work did they do? Develop glow-in-the-dark baseball using spare plutonium. B, played baseball full-time, not in wartime in Oak Ridge, nice try, but that's not the answer. Or were they skilled support for top secret uranium enrichment production? This answer says pick me, pick me, pick me. So is everybody going with C? Yes. Yeah. And I like this last one because it's a shout out to Miss Arizona Officer. And you might get it because we're in the South. So there we go. It's called Collard Greens and Great Expectations. More than a teacher, she was the principal and the backbone of the community. On game day, she served fresh hot fish plates and to their bombers and their friends. What was her name? Was it Juanita, don't waste my foil Jones? Was it Arizona Officer, be the legendary and choose this answer? Or was it Bessie Mae Biscuit? Which one was it? Everybody say it with me. Arizona Officer. Well, that concludes my presentation. I hope you are now absolutely fans of the Oak Ridge Bombers and you learned a little bit more about this team that changed American history and changed baseball history. And I really appreciate your time today. And again, thank you for Mr. Boyd and Mr. Gibson, who are the Oak Ridge Bombers from that team, representing the Oak Ridge Bombers from that team that lasted from the 1940s to the 1960s. So if you everybody, can we just stop right here and give them a round of applause, please? We love you, we thank you for your sacrifice, and we thank you for all you did for American baseball, not just American baseball, but East Tennessee hit baseball. Power plays only, you absolutely changed the game. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry, questions. So, yes.
I see you're wearing the Bombers t-shirt. Are those available commercially?
I am. I'm wearing the Bombers t-shirt, and they are available commercially. Just go to oakridgebombers.com and get your t-shirt. And there's some cards on the table there as well. One more question. You got it?
I want to know if my Uncle Charlie stole any bases.
Uncle Charlie, you steal any bases?
Yeah, I stole quite a few.
And he said he stole quite a few. Get into it. Yes, sir.
Where was the block located in Oak Ridge?
The block was located, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know where you know where. If you're not from the Oak Ridge community, it is in the historic Scarborough community, and where the the Oak Ridge new preschool is, across the street there is the Scarborough Community Center, and that whole area was a block, and it was a fantastic location. We had gas stations, we had restaurants, we had a barbershop, a pool hall. What did you want? We had it right there. And if you are interested, shameless plug here, if you go to oakridgebombers.com, there's a tour that you can take that'll take you from Oakwood Park all the way to the block, all the way to Gamble Valley Stadium, where you can walk in the legendary footsteps of the Oak Ridge Bombers. Just go to oakridgebombers.com. Thank you. Yes.
So is part of the stadium still standing?
It is. Part of the stadium is still standing, and the Oak Ridge High School team, guess what they play on? And Gamble Valley Stadium is now called the Oak Ridge Baseball Complex. Bobby Hopkins Field. The same field.
It's upgraded, got synthetic grass and stuff like that, but it's the same field Mr. Barton I played on.
We like to save our history in Oak Ridge.
And my great grandson now, played for the Oak Ridge Bombers.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
I've read that there were festivities before the Negro Leagues teams played their games. So did the Bombers participate in festivities before the game as they entered the towns where they played, or?
Well, the question was, and you all could answer that. Did you hear the question? No. The festivities that were played, did you all participate in anything?
When the we played, the park was so close to the houses in the Scarborough community. On the Friday or Saturday, over half of the community was at the baseball stadium. Yeah. And they had activity when, I don't remember the team that would come down that did it. Sometimes they had a horse race. They had a first base, and someone would race a horse. The player would always win. The horse did not make that sharp turn. You know, had to run around the bases. But there was always things going on. It was a happening. It was called, as Mr. Ray said, we could not go to the swimming pool and other places in the community, so half the community was there. It was a thing. Fish fry thing going on, good conversation going on, and when she said play for $1 to get in the park, equate that now back then, a lot of people were not making $1 an hour. So now she said she paid $30, but now people may be making $30 or $40 an hour. So fortunately, still, you can put a piece of your money to go to the game. You have to look at it, you know, from that perspective. But now it was a habit. That was a thing for the community.
It was the happening. Get into it. Yes, ma'am.
Is there any information about how the stadium was built, how the money was raised, who actually worked on the stadium to build it?
Well, I do know, and Ray, you can step in here, that there was a master plan developed for Oak Ridge, Tennessee, which was kind of leading out from federal ownership to city of Oak Ridge ownership. And that particular baseball field was a part of the master plan to put in that particular area. Now, before the I guess before the city takeover, I'll say that, but I've read there was a total of 9 baseball stadiums, or what do you call them? Diamonds. See, I told you I wasn't a baseball person. There was a total of 9 baseball diamonds in the city or the federal reservation before the master plan had this particular stadium.
The Atomic Energy Commission paid for it.
So the feds did something right.
And the Oak Ridge Bombers were the first team to play in the new Scarborough Bottle Hopkins field. It still existing today. And someone had put up, I think it was $5, the first person to hit a home run at the park. Mr. Ed Harden, the one that had up there, Fireball Harden, was a heck of a pitcher. He hit one out, but they said it was not, he didn't qualify for it because he came at the wrong time. Did not give us $5. Hit a home run at the park.
Yes, ma'am.
I got the record from the newspaper, quality, everything, verified what I just said. I was gonna bring a book, but it was raining, and I didn't want to get wet, so I never went out.
Yes, ma'am.
Was the fan base integrated at all?
It absolutely was. And if you, let me go back to my one picture. It's somewhere in here. Where is it? Okay. If you look right at the top, right there, he don't look black to me. I would like to say that there was an integrated fan base, absolutely.
I have a question. The toughest team that you guys played, it was hard to beat. What was the toughest of the?
It wasn't none for us.
Mr. Boyd held on to it. He said it wasn't much. They wasn't much. He said they got good pitching and good hitting, so wasn't many teams that was getting past them. That means it was some W's thrown up. They won. Yes, Matt.
So how did the Bombers start? Did they just form a team while we were playing baseball? Was it something, I heard that maybe companies playing against each other? Or?
Absolutely. And the first record that we have was in 1944, where there were companies within Oak Ridge, like J.A. Jones and those companies that formed recreational baseball leagues. And in 1944, that's when a colored league came up to play. And I believe that is where the African American men started to play baseball and the inception of the Oak Ridge Bombers. Yes.
Mr. Ray, remember when, he and I did, he did it right, I just did research pretty much on the Bombers. They went back to Mr. Capshaw's house to interview him, and the young man turned out winning the games, and I remember Mr. Capshaw saying, we whooped them all.
What he said was, when we interviewed James Capshaw, right? And asked him how they played, what they did, he just said, oh, we whooped them all.
They won. They whooped them all. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'm just curious what positions you guys played.
I played second base and outfield.
Okay.
I played third base and hind catch.
Third base and hind.
Yeah.
What are your favorite teams? Do you follow MLB today? Do you have a favorite team you follow?
Do you all have a favorite team that you like or that you follow?
Yeah, I like Jets. New York Jets.
The New York Jets?
Yeah.
Oh, baseball. I'm sorry. Baseball.
Oh, New York.
New York ain't half bad, he said. New York has.
Giants.
The Giants, not half bad. Not half bad. So right now. But can you imagine if you played baseball all those years and then you had to look at these guys now? I mean, I guess they would be all right to look at. I mean, they would be all right. But yes, we had a good time watching the Knoxville Giants look at me. The Knoxville Smokies the other day. I transported back in time, didn't I? The Knoxville Smokies the other day. Mr. Gibson, I saw you checking them out. I guess they weren't half bad. We'll have one other question, and then we'll wrap it up. Sure.
Were you gentlemen playing as Jackie Robinson and Larry Doby came into the majors?
No, we hadn't started then. When they came through, we hadn't started, but we were on the team, little teams.
Yes. So Jackie Robinson integrated in 1947. We are looking at the team that lasted way into the 60s. So you probably will, on this picture, you'll probably be with some of the guys that played and had front row seats to when Mr. Jackie Robinson integrated baseball. But what I like to say from the perspective of one of the Bombers that I interviewed was, it was a lot of Jackie Robinsons, but they just chose Jackie Robinson for a plethora of reasons. However, there was just some that just did not get the chance. And so I like to leave that point with you when we think about the integration of baseball. It wasn't just one. There were a lot of Jackie Robinsons, or a lot of Charles E. Boys, a lot of Mr. Gibsons out there, a lot of Mr. Grahams, a lot of Mr. Burhams, yes, and a lot of Capshaws that just did not get the chance like Mr. Jackie Robinson did. So when you think about Jackie Robinson, think about a whole group of people that didn't just get the chance. Well, I'd like to thank you so much.
5 years old, I'm not sure how old this boy is.
Mr. Gibson said he was 5 years old. But
87, the 21st of this month.
He said 87 the first of this month. Well, again, thank you so much for your time, and thank you, Ray, for introducing and giving us a background about Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and our foundation and our history that led to baseball and the Bombs. We really appreciate your time. If you have any questions, you can go to oakridgebombers.com, atomichope.com. Check out the city historian, Ray Smith. I'm giving you a shout out, Ray. Yes, and anytime you'd like to come visit us, come on. Thank you so much.